So I'm sitting there at our house, and my son Curtis is with me, and we're getting ready to travel plan. He says, "Dad, I've made my decision. I know where I want to go." I said, "You do? Well, let me hear your decision." He said, "Dad, I want to go to Thailand and Cambodia." All right, I want to be a proud father. I'm like, he's probably got a really great idea, something he learned in school, some sort of inspirational thing, something that says, "That's my boy." I said, "Well, Curtis, what's your reasoning?" He said, "Dad, I want to ride elephants and eat bugs." That's how it started. So we began our multi-year planning and saving for his trip. So we didn't actually ride elephants. We went to a sanctuary and then took care of them all day. We did eat a lot of bugs. Some were good, some weren't. So I was a worried new parent to be with our first child. Well, my wife, I'm not going to steal her credit. I didn't do much. And I wanted to do something really big for our kids when they got older. I didn't know what it was going to be. And I reflected on my own experiences, especially through high school. I had a lot of great friends. Specifically, I had Jewish friends, I had Latino friends, and I had African friends. And they all had these wonderful life markers that were presented to them when they got to be adults. And I never felt like I had one of those. I had a lot of great things as a kid. Matter of fact, I grew up 2 streets from here. I'm a local guy. I'm very proud of it. We had a lower middle class income. I had 2 brothers, family of 5, 1 income, lots of hand-me-downs. I had loving parents. I had a great bike. I played sports. I had safe schools. But I always wanted a little bit more. I felt in my heart I was missing something. So now I've come back to this community, 20-year veteran, Whitehall Police Department, and currently a school resource officer in our schools to keep giving back. So I went to my wife with this idea and I said, what if we do something really big for our kids? Because I don't know what it is, but I want to be a wow parent. So we kind of brainstormed and we kind of formulated this idea. On their 16th birthday, they could pick a destination trip anywhere in the world with the same-sex parent. My daughter, who was the firstborn, Katie, she chose France and Switzerland with my wife. We had our second child, Curtis. It's a little funny story. Our third child, we were pregnant, well, once again, she, not I, was pregnant, and she's on the operating table, 3rd C-section, superwoman. Doctor gets ready to yank out number 3, and she says 2 things. "Doctor, is my baby healthy?" Doctor says, "Yes, your baby boy is healthy." She looks over at me and says, "Now you get 2 trips?" Thank you for feeling me on that one. You can't argue with it. So why do we do this? We want to put this life marker in our kids. We want to hardwire an experience early on, not when they have gray hair, way before then. We want this to formulate who they are as a person. So when Curtis and I were traveling, we visited Wat Tramet in Bangkok, the largest, most popular tourist area. It's home of the solid gold Buddha. Really cool story for it. We don't have time for it tonight. If you get a chance, especially the young students here, check it out. But I tweeted, "Here's Wat Tramet, home of the solid gold Buddha. Here's my son, home of the solid gold heart." He's a great young man. This allows an opportunity to have a shared experience. You can't put this kind of stuff on a qualitative scale. It doesn't show up on a pie chart. You can't graph it. There's no metadata with this kind of experience. So we've heard of IQ, EQ. We believe in a CQ, a cultural quotient. Something that allows you to appreciate people that are significantly different than you are. And not just appreciate or respect or admire, but I would use the term love. You actually love being somewhere where maybe you're the different person. And then when someone else is different in a group where you're at, you can appreciate a little bit of that. We also did some other things. Every man needs his first tattoo. If you can appreciate how difficult it is to take pictures from the left side during the entire traveling we did, because we didn't want his mother to see that till we got home. So, right, that's kind of how it went. Although he did get a lot of props. A lot of people in Thailand loved his tattoo. So I got to admit, it's pretty cool, and we didn't get in that much trouble when we came home. My wife actually said, I expected something like this. She does know us. We take them places so they can experience all kinds of things. We intentionally seek out things that are different foods. Of course, the bugs we already saw, but just everyday food. This was a street stall we went to daily. We went for breakfast. And no, they don't have Eggos or Pop-Tarts. That's for breakfast. You get to see all kinds of sights, buildings and temples and architecture and things that you've only seen in books, and now you're there visiting and you're seeing and you're touching. You get to experience different modes of travel. And yes, riding a tuk-tuk in Bangkok with 12 million people and no seatbelt is as dangerous as it sounds. A little bit of a venture. I think he enjoyed it a little more than I. One thing I will tell you that is an absolute certain, even when you're somewhere where you don't know the language, you don't look like anybody, you don't talk like anybody, and you are a complete stranger, the smile between two young people is universal. So he actually was a pretty big hit with the young ladies while we were over there. While we were traveling, we went up to Ayutthaya. It's a little town, not town, it's a smaller city now, but it was the old capital of Siam before they moved it to Bangkok. We came across a couple inside of a temple, and we did the proverbial, hey, where are you guys from? Where are you from? Can you take our picture? We'll take yours. And the gentleman is younger. He said, hey, I'm here with my wife. This is our honeymoon. Oh, congratulations. Hey, nice. We took their pictures. And he said, where are you guys from? Curtis spoke up and said, well, we're from the States. I'm with my dad. I'm on a 16-year-old trip with him. The guy paused. He said, I went on a 16-year-old trip with my dad. He goes, that was the fondest memories I ever have of my father. Matter of fact, that was the best trip I've ever had in my life. And he said that in front of his new bride. So I fully expect when he went back home, that might not have worked out so well. But it was very genuine. We were traveling through Cambodia. It was our last night there. We're in Phnom Penh, the capital. Going to the airport, and our private driver from our hotel, he's telling us about his family, and he supports his mom, his dad, his wife, his 2 kids, and his brother on one income. And he's not an employee of the hotel. He's a private driver. He's an at-will gentleman in a very poor country. So he held over late because they knew we had to go to the airport. And we just got to talking and knowing him over a couple days. We got to the airport. We traded WhatsApp numbers. I had to learn what that was. And I took some money out of my pocket and I gave it to him. Because during our talks, I had asked him, what are you doing for money? What do you do for school? I'm just curious. That's part of the reason why we go on these trips is you learn when you wonder. And when you dream big, you can be part of other people's dreams. So he said, well, I need money because I put my daughter in private school extra. It's 25 cents a day for the teacher. Right? You don't want those wages. And it's 25 cents a day for food. He goes, I need 50 cents a day. I put her in school. And I struggle. So back to getting out of the airport, putting on our packs. We're getting ready to go out. I take the money out. I hand it to him. And he says, no, I can't take this. I said, yeah, please. It's from one dad to another. He acquiesced. We walked off, and Kurt said, Dad, how much did you give him? Well, normally it would be kind of a rude question, but this is a learning trip. And I said, I gave him 15 bucks. I said, that's enough to put his daughter in private school for an entire month. So my teenager says, Dad, that was really cool. don't know about other parents in the audience, but have a genuine, you're a cool dude from your 16-year-old kid. I was ready to get out a blank check. So we do a 2-week trip because it allows enough time period to immerse yourself in the culture and to have real conversations. You get away from vacationing. We don't vacation, we travel. And that's part of what I mean by that. So my friend John, wonderful young guy, was in the Army with him. His son, who's 13, Matthew, said, "Hey, Dad, you know the trip that the Hollyfields do?" My buddy said, "Yeah." He goes, "I've been thinking about that." So he goes, "I knew this was coming because we've been friends for more than 20 years. So he said, "Dad, when I'm 13, I want to go a trip anywhere in the United States. And when I'm 16, I want to go anywhere around the world." So my buddy came to me and he said, "Yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that." The picture here means absolutely nothing to probably everybody in this audience. We were in Chiang Mai, northern Thailand. We were sitting overlooking the moat outside an old castle wall. Really kind of cool. And we were kind of killing time before we had to go to the airport to get back to Bangkok. And I said, "Hey, Kurz, it's time to go." Because at one point in time last year, my buddy and I, whose kids just talked to him about the trips, we missed a connecting flight between 2 countries in South America, and my wife was terrified I was going to get lost and leave our son somewhere. So knowing that I probably wouldn't live if I came home without him, I was always getting to the airport early. And he said, do we have to go right now?" I looked at my watch and said, "Well, we got a minute. You want something to eat?" I'm thinking he's thinking with his stomach or something. And he said, "No, Dad, I want to sit back down and talk. I'm having a really good time." That's why I like that picture. And for you parents out there, a moment like that, you can't replicate. You can't fake, and you can't take them on vacation to force it. It's genuine, especially from that age, which is real hard to get through. So by having 2 weeks, it allows time for this to come in, and you have some uncomfortable periods where you now have to rely on each other, and you really get down to the core element of each other. Our third child, our second son, he had his delivery on his 14th birthday. He has chosen to go to Finland, Sweden, and Estonia. So we are going to plan a trip to the North Sea and Scandinavia. We also have on our walls at our house, we have a travel wall, and then we have an arrow wall. Each of these arrows represent where our kids have chosen to share their moments with us in life. Because that's really what it is, a shared moment with somebody that is the most important to you. And we're putting our money where our mouth is. And yes, we saved. Yes, we scrimped. We do all those stupid things you see on, don't drink the $5 lattes and all that good stuff. And it takes us about 2 years. My wife works overtime. I work overtime. It is not magic. But there's never one day that I heard her complain, and there's never one day I complain. I want to share this final thought. I hope that I am and continue to be a wow parent. And I want you to know, Katie, Curtis, and Carson, that your mom and I love you. Thanks, guys.